Hey everybody, it's Jen with Raising Roamers, and this is an update on our very unpredictable journey that we've had so far. 8 days ago now, we were supposed to take off on a multi-state road trip that would take us down the East Coast, and we had everything ready. We booked all of our stays, we had all of our activities. Like, if anyone knows me, I'm a huge planner, and I had everything for this trip planned down to a T. We hooked our truck up to the camper, we started driving away, and we made it a couple minutes before we realized something was wrong. My husband, thankfully, is really mechanically inclined, and so he started diving in to see what was going on. And at first we thought it was something minor, like a fuel cooler, because we were just constantly losing coolant, like quicker than we could put it in. We were literally coming from St. Louis, which is normally a 2-hour drive to get from St. Louis to our home. However, it took us a little bit over 4 hours, and we had to stop on the side of the interstate several times just to refill the coolant. And that was something that's really dangerous to do, especially when you have a toddler in the car and you're hauling your home behind you. But we really didn't have a choice because the truck was continuing to overheat. So we had to keep cooling it down, keep putting more coolant in it. And we eventually made it back safely, but knew something was seriously wrong. We went through this about 4 or 5 more times. We literally thought we fixed the problem, hooked the camper up, and it was still leaking coolant over and over and over again. And the weird part was that the truck was driving totally fine with nothing behind it, but obviously we have a 36-foot, very heavy camper that we're trying to haul, and every time you put the load onto the truck, it would just stop working. My husband has since removed 5 different parts of the truck and made them brand new, and we're still having issues. So after talking to our family members and our friends and like all of these mechanically inclined people that we know, we've determined that it is a blown head gasket. So my husband is currently out in my father-in-law's shop, which we are so grateful to be here. Like, if we were going to have any truck issues, this place is the place to have it, at my in-laws' house. But he is out there working on tearing apart our truck completely so he can remove these and replace these head gaskets. Now, the crazy part is that we are going to Disney next week with our family. We have a huge family on my husband's side. There are 12 adults and 16 children, and we are all going to Disney for a whole week next week. And we were supposed to take the truck, supposed to take the camper. That's where our East Coast road trip was taking us to. And now we have to go back to St. Louis to pick up our other vehicle, and we have to take that there while the truck is literally like torn in half while we're in Disney for a week. So the plan is, once we return from Disney, to put everything back together and finally be able to leave and explore the country that we've been trying to explore for so long now. We are beyond thankful. We have had so many amazing help from the community, not even just our local community, but for example, one of the places we were supposed to be staying at, I had requested if I could send a package to them since, it's really hard to get mail when you're on the road, and they said yes without even questioning it. And when they found out that we couldn't actually make it there because of the truck, they ended up shipping it back to Missouri for us, and we're just so incredibly thankful that they were able to help us out with that. But the crazy part is, as many issues as we've been having with this truck, we have really loved living in a camper. Like, we are confident that us selling our house, selling everything we own to move into this camper is still the right thing for us to do. We may never know what fate's reason was for us not to hit the road already, but we're just trying to trust our best that there was a reason and that we're here and we're safe, and we're figuring all of this out now while my father-in-law is here to help with the truck, my mother-in-law is here to help with our son while I'm working, and not just like broken down on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere or anything like that. So here are the top 5 things that I have loved about living in a camper so far. Number 1, it has everything that we need. I mean, we have a kitchen, a full bathroom. Our toddler has a whole bedroom back there. We have a washer, dryer. We have an outdoor kitchen. Like, everything that we truly need, we have it. So while we've made this huge transition, it hasn't felt like we're really missing anything, and things just feel simpler. Number 2, we kind of just naturally get forced out of the camper every day. When you're in a big house, it's easy for you just to be in the house all day if you want to, and it's just a little bit harder to do that here, not necessarily because you're missing anything inside. It's just a natural feeling to wake up in this small space and want to get out, stretch your legs, and be outside. And we were trying to get to 1,000 hours outside this year, and having that has really, really helped us. Number 3 is that we are still mobile. And while we didn't get to go on this multi-state road trip that we were hoping for, living in a camper gives us the opportunity to always have that as a part of our future. We are really excited about our opportunity in Arizona, and even on our days off, if we want to just take our camper and bring it somewhere, there's nothing stopping us from doing that. It feels like it's a lot of freedom to be able to just drive this wherever we want to, park it wherever we can find, and just get a good night's rest anywhere we want to with this thing. Number 4 is just lowering the cost of living. When you really break down a big house with a big mortgage and the big electric bill, the big water bill, and HOA, and you just throw all that together, it was crazy the amount of dollars that we were spending just to exist. And the fact that we don't have to live like that anymore feels really freeing as well. The 5th thing is really related to that, and while life was expensive, we had to work a lot, and it felt like we never had to have time as a family, like we just never had the opportunity to. And so the fact that we have lowered our cost of living has given us the freedom to bring my husband home from corporate America. I mean, he was scheduled for 50 hours a week and never got off on time, and the 50 hours were never consistent. It was always just living on the edge of our seat, just waiting to see when he would come home, if we'd get to eat dinner with him tonight, and we'd have cold meals together because they were cooked and hot when he was supposed to be home and then he wasn't, and things like that. So just the fact that even though we're going through all of these stressors, the fact that my husband is here, I'm just so incredibly thankful for that. I would take this stress over that stress any day. Now, here are the 5 things I have not enjoyed about living in a camper. Number 1 is we have to keep a very close eye on our propane, especially as the temperature is getting cooler. We found out the hard way that our propane was gone because we woke up absolutely freezing because it just died in the middle of the night. So we went to bed with heat and woke up freezing cold. Number 2, stink bugs. I am not afraid of many bugs. I don't mind the spiders. I'm definitely the spider killer in the family. But something I cannot stand are these stink bugs, and they are everywhere. There's literally one behind me right over there, and no matter how many traps, no matter how many bug bombs, no matter how many that we sweep away or whatever, there's just always more. And we know that could be a problem with a seal in the camper, so before we take off for good again this time, we're gonna have my husband take a look and just see what's going on, because we have to figure out a way to get these things out of here. They're creeping me out. Number 3 is dog hair. This is obviously a problem that we face in our house too, but we have a pit bull mix and a Great Pyrenees mix, and this Great Pyrenees, he sheds everywhere. There's just little chunks of hair everywhere from him, and it's stressful in a big house, but especially when you're in a confined space like this, it just gives me anxiety. Number 4 is our small kitchen sink. We are bad about at night we cook dinner and then we're really tired, so we normally end up cleaning up after that the next day. And being in a camper, the kitchen sink is just really small, so we notice that if we don't handle the dishes immediately, we run out of room in there so fast, and it's kind of forcing us just to handle the dishes immediately. And that's probably the right habit to get into, but it's not the habit that we're in right now, so just learning how to adjust with that, I guess. And number 5, I think, would be trying to figure everything out after we move somewhere. So we move our camper somewhere and then we come inside, we think we had everything secured, and it feels like every time something has not been secured. So something has either broken or something is just shifted and things like that. For example, in our son's room, we also have the dogs sleep in there, and they're in this metal crate. We literally took their crate that they had and took it apart to make a wall out of it. Well, when we closed the camper thinking we were hitting the road last time, it ended up getting caught on our washing machine or something, and it ripped it out of the ground. So now my husband has to put the rest of the kennel back onto the ground before we can collapse the slides again. But all in all, this has been an amazing journey so far. It's been very stressful. It's had way more downs than ups so far as this truck goes. But when you really take a step back and look at it, the truck is just one thing. So the fact that everything else has been going okay is just a huge blessing. We're in love with this camper we literally found it on Facebook Marketplace and just got lucky. And we are just so thankful to be here as a family of 3. We're thankful, to be here at my in-laws where they're able to help us get through this crazy time that we're in. And we are really looking forward to seeing where our next step is. Thank you for being here. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our website. We are building rapidly with this social media stuff, and it's just been a huge blessing, and we are so thankful to have you here, and we can't wait to see where this camper takes us next.